on and on and on, and I was just nodding, yes, yes, yes. And he really sold me out, because I got back the next day and I read the papers. I said, that's not what we said.
Breaking news, folks. In an incredible moment in front of the entire world, President Emmanuel Macron brutally interrupted a Trump lie directly from Trump himself at the White House, no less, fearlessly fact-checking him in real time, and it is a sight to behold. Macron just said, "Hold my croissant, you butt end of a cigarette-looking president." Trump just gets utterly humiliated here, and you can see Macron physically grab his arm to stop him, to shut him up from talking, because he was talking directly out of his ass, and then he explains things to him like a child. It is such a great sight to behold. I mean, just look at this guy's face. And I have that brutal and humiliating clip coming up for you in just a second. But first, we need to talk about why exactly Macron is at the White House in the first place, because it's pretty concerning.
This is big, wild, but not unexpected. Because, well, just today, the UN adopted a resolution advancing a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in Ukraine and recognized the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine. You had the United States joining Russia, North Korea, Hungary, Niger, and Mali in voting against it. Right, and this is today is the 3rd anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, and the American government hasn't released a statement marking the anniversary or condemning the invasion. Also, regarding the timing, you had Macron visiting the White House today on what he calls a last chance mission for Europe, with Macron saying he's there to tell Trump, quote, "This is not you. It's not your trademark. It's not in your interest. How can you then be credible in the face of China if you're weak in the face of Putin?" And Macron also saying that the international community is bewildered by this new Putin-Trump alliance and that he will ask Trump if NATO even still exists. And also on that front, you had Germany's new Chancellor Friedrich Merz saying in his very first statement that Germany and Europe will achieve full strategic independence from the United States. Right, and this is Merz has been widely seen as a Russia hawk who used to believe in transatlanticism and was considered one of the most pro-American politicians in Germany. But now you have Merz saying the Trump administration doesn't care about Europe and is aligning with Russia. He also says that Europe must find a NATO replacement without the United States within months. With then Merz also going on to say that Musk's interventions in the German election to support the AfD, it's the same as Putin's intervention.
Yeah. And it doesn't bode well that we are joining Russia and North Korea on voting in the United Nations against Ukraine, but also that this buffoon is utterly destroying our relations with Europe and the rest of the world. Like, how do conservatives and MAGA morons look at this and not see him as a Russian agent? Even this commenter here was like, Trump is acting like a Russian agent. Bro, you can't ride that Putin D this hard.
Exactly what we agreed. Mr. President, you called Zelensky a dictator. Would you use the same words regarding Putin?
I don't use those words lightly. I think that we're going to see how. I think we have a chance of a really good settlement between various countries. And, you know, you're talking about Europe and you're talking about Ukraine as part of that whole situation. The other side has a lot of support also. So let's see how it all works out. It might work out. Look, you can never make up lives. The one thing you can make up the money, but you can't make up the lives. A lot of lives lost. I think probably a lot more lives than people are talking about. It's been a rough war. And remember what I said. This could escalate into a third world war, and we don't want that either.
Mr. President, your envoy Steve Witkoff suggested a temporary ceasefire in the conflict, but the Russian government has denied that out of hand. Are you worried that they're not dealing in good faith?
No, I think they at some point will agree to that. I think they probably wanted to. And I think once you have a ceasefire, it's going to end, because they're not going from a ceasefire back to war. I think people have had their full. I'm just glad I was able to help, because there was no communication with Russia until I came along. Biden didn't communicate. He couldn't communicate with his own child.
But all of that said, I am at least very glad to see European leaders standing up to Trump and talking down to him like the literal baby he is. Please enjoy this clip of Macron literally putting baby in the corner.
I support the idea to have Ukraine first being compensated, because they are the one to have lose a lot of their fellow citizens and being destroyed by these attacks. Second, all of those who paid for could be compensated, but not by Ukraine, by Russia, because they were the one to aggress.
Again, just so you understand, Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. They get their money back.
No, in fact, to be frank, we paid 60% of the total effort, and it was through, like the US, loans, guarantee, grants, and we provided real money, to be clear.
Okay.
We have 230 billion frozen assets in Europe, Russian assets, but this is not as a collateral of a loan because this is not our belonging. So they are frozen. If at the end of the day in the negotiation we will have with Russia, they're ready to give it to us, super. It will be loan at the end of the day and Russia will have paid for that.
If you
This is my
believe
wish.
that, it's okay with me. But they get their money back, we don't, and now we do. But, you know, that's
We will
only
fight
fair.
boss to do so.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. Lying only works to people's faces when it's your dick-sucking sycophants and MAGA morons. Macron just said, hold my croissant, you butt end of a cigarette-looking president. And I'm so here for it, yo. Vive la France, vive la révolution. If you agree and you love seeing Trump get humiliated on the world stage by world leaders, please consider dropping a like on the video, subscribing to Really American, and joining the resistance with us. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you guys in the next one.